Ladies and gentlemen, my friends, fellow humans, compatriots from across the earth, I am Nikhil Parekh. In this video, I shall be speaking about my book titled You Die, I Die, Love Poems, Part 11, as well as giving you a recitation of different poems from this book of mine. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me commence with an introduction to this book of mine. About the poetry book. This book, which has 40 differently titled poems, is actually part 11 of the book titled You Die, I Die, Love Poems, 1600 pages. Poems symbolizing the mortality of love and at times its fickleness. Parekh takes the reader through a paradise naturally embellished with the ingredients of eternal romance and its sporadic failures. As they say, life and death are two sides of the coin. Similarly, with every true anecdote of love, there also comes fretful divorce. A thing which has been most sensitively described throughout this great collection of poems for the heart, written and dipped in each ingredient of his passionate blood. Parekh comes out with startling revelations about the truest of love stories and their failures. Each verse has been delicately intertwined with a boundless aspects of relationships, cheating, betrayal, and goes on to prove that immortal love towers over every shattered heart. A start to finish with some of the most heart-rendering love poems ever. This makes a great collection for every true lover breathing and desiring to be loved on earth and beyond. This collection of poems aims at perpetually uniting every heart on this universe in the spirit of immortal love and friendship. In the spirit of immortal love and friendship, because these are the two quintessential ingredients to lead life till its last breath. Irrespective of whatever color, faith, or religion, it is only the rainbow of love which can transform the ghastliest monsters and perpetrators of humanity into peaceful lovers. Therefore, this book inexhaustibly endeavors to speak and preach the language of love even after its last embossed alphabet. So, ladies and gentlemen, I shall now be giving you a recitation of 4 different poems from this book of mine. These poems are titled as Maximum Pleasure, Invincible Love, Ointments, and Looking Forward to. Of course, at any juncture of victoriously mesmerizing existence, you can purchase this book of mine in the ebook format from Amazon.com. Ladies and gentlemen, here is a recitation of my poem titled Maximum Pleasure from this book of mine. The soap derived maximum pleasure in cleaning tons of disdainful dirt, scrupulously polishing each pore of the rotten body. The conglomerate of ominously black clouds derived maximum pleasure in thunderously showering down upon the earth, inundating its fathomless barren territories with sparkling water. The obdurate and thick-skinned crocodile derived maximum pleasure in pulverizing robust and supple flesh into slender fragments of fine chowder. The young maiden derived maximum pleasure, sighting and admiring herself infinite number of times, sighting and admiring herself infinite number of times in the mirror, combing her hair, deftly plucking the slightest of blemish that cropped up on her persona. The fur-coated unruly street dog derived maximum pleasure, barking and howling agonizingly the entire night, keeping vigil while the rest of the world slept like gods, while the rest of the world keeping vigil while the rest of the world slept like gods. The eyes derived maximum pleasure when fully open and gazing at the mesmerizing beauty wandering delectably through the mystical foliage. The scarlet rose derived maximum pleasure after diffusing its enchanting fragrance prolifically all around in vicinity. The granules of silvery sand lying scattered in the parched desert derived maximum pleasure in suckling virtually any kind of liquid, be it mineral water or ghastly cans of kerosene. The keys on the typewriter derived maximum pleasure when punched at electric speeds tenaciously by fingers functioning in splendid synchronization. The fleet of birds wading solitarily on the river waters derived maximum pleasure when flying high and handsome in patches of crystal blue sky, relishing the caress of a cocoon of ravishing clouds as they soared by. The gaudy complexion shirt derived maximum pleasure when worn on the chest of the flamboyant president, displaying itself bombastically to as many people possible in the outside world. The fortress of teeth embodied within the lips derived maximum pleasure in intricately masticating rubicund morsels of glistening carrot. In intricately masticating rubicund morsels of glistening carrot, nibbling at the roots in lazy exultation. The mouse derived maximum pleasure after capturing a battalion of mice, ruthlessly imprisoning them till they were handed over to the master. The golden elevator derived maximum pleasure after reaching the absolute pinnacle of the building, safely transporting an army of people to their required destinations. The minuscule matchstick derived maximum pleasure after igniting to a full bloom, profoundly illuminating every household lingering in a pool of morbid darkness. The egg derived maximum pleasure after hatching into a tiny little and wonderful fledgling. The feather-tipped pen derived maximum pleasure in embellishing. The feather-tipped pen derived maximum pleasure in embedding millions of lines of literature, granting stupendous status to every blank sheet of paper. The omniscient entity of God derived maximum pleasure in creating boundless human beings in animate life, blessing all individuals with the virtue to survive and unprecedented happiness. The omniscient entity of God derived maximum pleasure in creating boundless human beings in animate life, blessing all individuals with the virtue to survive and unprecedented happiness. Every mother derived maximum pleasure in nourishing her child with her own blood, in nourishing her child with her own blood and sacred milk, with her own blood and sacred milk, harnessing its reservoir of hidden energies to the fullest. And every heart derived maximum pleasure in throbbing thunderously for the person it vehemently revered, living solely and fervently for the person it loved on this planet. And every heart derived maximum pleasure in throbbing thunderously for the person it vehemently revered, living solely and fervently for the person it loved on this planet. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I shall give you a recitation of my poem titled Invincible Love. Every night is empty without its resplendent festoon of shimmering stars, paving a path of mysticism through the dreary morbidity all around. Every desert is empty without its majestically glistening carpet of sands, royally rising and falling with the exuberantly blowing winds. Every road is empty without its flurry of boisterously gallivanting traffic, granting new dimensions all the time to its never-ending repertoire of enigmatic curves and turns. Every day is empty without its dynamically flamboyant sun, bedazzling even the most remotely dilapidated corners of this universe with a garland of magnetically golden light. Every throat is empty without its harmonious melody, the captivatingly rhapsodic sound that catapulted even the most impoverished to an enchanting entrenchment beyond realms of mesmerizing eternity. Every mountain is empty without its irrefutably towering summits, kissing the clouds unflinchingly as they seductively drifted by, proving an ultimate exemplary to all other diminutive aspects of incarcerated life. Every mind is empty without its unrelenting fountain of enthralling fantasies, relentlessly exploring, discovering, and evolving into a waterfall of stupendous newness as each instant unveiled. Every cloud is empty without its tantalizing droplets of rain, the unprecedented enthrallment that it spellbindingly bestowed upon this planet, with its profusely heavenly tumblers of water. Every palm is empty without its unfathomable myriad of tingling destiny lines, the magnanimous bifurcations which astoundingly governed stardom and horrendous pitfalls in a man's life. Every ocean is empty without its ecstatic fish, the voluptuously ravishing elixir that they imparted to the undulating waves, culminating into fireballs of desire before clashing against the scintillating rocks. Every calendar is empty without its meticulous array of dates, the most euphoric depictions of days and weeks, propelling living kind on the path of radiantly blooming prosperity. Every flower is empty without its fabulously gorgeous fragrance, the scent that handsomely pervaded even the most heinous webs of uncouth lechery, flooding dwindling souls all across the universe with vibrant light. Every forest is empty without its untamed wilderness, the unsurpassable blend of leaf and animal and stream, which weaved cloud covers of unparalleled excitement. Every forest is empty without its untamed wilderness, the unsurpassable blend of leaf and animal and stream, which weaved cloud covers of unparalleled excitement. Every vein is empty without its scarlet rivulets of blood. The omnipotent fuel to gush forward with insurmountable fervor in life. The only religion that bonded all humankind. Every oyster is empty without its marvelously shimmering pearls. The incredulously embellished globule which fulminated into vivacious happiness. Every canvas is empty without its vivid splashes of color, inundating the sullen atmosphere around with waves of poignant compassion, suddenly making drab moments of life replete with astoundingly exotic charm. Every conscience is empty without its invincible righteousness, the sacrosanct virtue which made every organism feel as the richest alive, massacring the very essence of blatantly coward lives from the colossal trajectory of this planet. Every heart is empty without its perpetual beats, the everlasting rhythm which bonded all across boundless earth in thunderbolts of insatiable passion alike. And every life is empty without its immortal love, the unconquerable soulmate of its dreams, which was its very reason to dream of an infinite more births. More importantly, in this lifetime, be blissfully breathing and alive. And every life is empty without its immortal love, the unconquerable soulmate of its dreams, which was its very reason to dream of an infinite more births, more lives. More importantly, in this lifetime, be blissfully breathing and alive. Ladies and gentlemen, I shall now give you a recitation of my poem titled Ointments. So here is a recitation of this poem of mine from this book. In order to mend the broken slabs of bedraggled building, all that was required was an ointment of rich cement and raw brick. In order to mend the broken web of spider, all that was required was an ointment of silvery threads and slime. In order to mend the disastrously scorched territory of soil, all that was required was an ointment of cool and revitalizing water. In order to mend the broken links of the enigmatic jigsaw puzzle, all that was required was an ointment of pragmatic intelligence. In order to mend the broken bits of scattered paper, all that was required was an ointment of glue and sticky adhesive. In order to mend the broken periphery of lips, all that was required was an ointment of glossy lipstick. In order to mend the disdainfully broken finger, all that was required was an ointment of thoroughly powdered and fine calcium. In order to mend the broken down car, all that was required was an ointment of gold and petrol. In order to mend the broken fields of sprawling grass, all that was required was an ointment of pure and natural goat manure. All that was required was an ointment of pure and natural goat manure. In order to mend the broken stomach, all that was required was an ointment of appetizing food and voluptuous. An ointment of appetizing food and voluptuous fruit juice. In order to mend the broken and stammering speech, all that was required was an ointment of stupendous confidence in self. In order to mend the broken city, all that was required was an ointment of paramount resilience, the fortitude to stand together and reconstruct the same paradise. In order to mend the broken and age-old computer, all that was required was an ointment of high-tech software chips and a flurry of ingenious program. In order to mend the broken and slowly fading light, all that was required was an ointment of the blistering sun. In order to mend the broken eye, all that was required was an ointment of glistening moisture and passionate fantasy revolving fanatically each second. In order to mend the broken shirt and trousers, all that was required was an ointment of colored buttons and long spools of silken thread. In order to mend the broken individual, all that was required was an ointment of reassurance compounded with heaps of unparalleled empathy and care. In order to mend the broken throat, all that was required was an ointment of warm and sizzling herbal tea, a peaceful day's rest to soothe every traumatized vein. In order to mend the broken relationship, all that was required was an ointment of perpetual and amicable understanding. In order to mend the broken nose, all that was required was an ointment of moist and overwhelmingly compassionate breath. And in order to mend the broken heart, all that was required was an ointment of care, an ointment that spread the immortal roots of love whenever and wherever applied. And in order to mend the broken heart, all that was required was an ointment of care, an ointment that spread the immortal roots of love whenever and wherever applied. Ladies and gentlemen, I shall now give you a recitation of my poem titled Looking Forward To from this book of mine. So here is the recitation of my poem. The night looked forward to the brilliant morning, completely engulfing its chill with flamboyant light. The deserts looked forward to rain, a billion droplets of water to quench their insatiable thirst. A billion droplets of water to quench their insatiable thirst. The freezing slopes of the snow-laden Antarctica looked forward to a flurry of playful penguins, wandering around pompously with their protuberant necks poking out. The dying plumes of black smoke looked forward to fresh heat, incinerating their pathetic persona once again into crackling flames of golden fire. Incinerating their pathetic persona once again into crackling flames of golden fire. The bloodshot and morbid eyes of the convict looked forward to loads of compassion, empathy, and moisture. The solitary patches of the winding and century-old road. The solitary patches of the winding and century-old road looked forward to boisterous traffic. Scores of innocuous children inundating its gloomy ambience with lots of cheer and spice. The slaves toiling unrelentingly all day and night. The slaves toiling unrelentingly all night and day looked forward to some time occupying the seat of their master, thereby metamorphosing all their imprisoned dreams into reality. The goats philandering amidst appalling piles of rotten garbage looked forward to sprawling meadows of fresh grassland, blissfully munching corn and succulent vegetable. Blissfully munching corn and succulent vegetable. The gang of eunuchs begging in their discordant voices on the streets looked forward to another birth. Looked forward to another birth in which they were born as perfect humans, were able to exist harmoniously and procreated their progeny. The brave soldier sleeping dormantly in his bunker looked forward to a blood-curdling war, fighting with all his might to protect his country. The completely dried riverbed looked forward to tumultuous spells of rain to overwhelm its surface. Yet again with scores of twinkling fish in water. Yet again with scores of twinkling fish in water. The brutally chopped tongue looked forward to growing again, loudly speaking all the words it had perceived in its times of distress in a single stroke of time. The brutally chopped tongue looked forward to growing again, loudly speaking all the words it had perceived in its times of distress in a single stroke of time. The wholesomely barren streets of lanky canvas looked forward to being embedded with rustic color, an ensemble of vivacious lines rendering it with a profoundly dynamic appearance. The pair of scarlet-crested parrots incarcerated in their metallic cage looked forward to soaring high and handsome in the sky, relishing and enjoying a life of freedom like most of their counterparts were doing at the time. The famished alligator nestling on the banks of the river looked forward to the tantalizing scent of humans, crunching them into fine grains of mincemeat with its knife-like jaws. The boundless fragments of cloth lying buried under the debris looked forward to being united as one garment of the flag. Flutter in magnificent pride and glory while portraying the spirit of their nation. The writer involved in mundane jobs of this world, in order to survive, looked forward to gallivanting through the enchanting camouflage of the valley. Keep writing incessantly as each day took stranglehold of the night. Keep writing incessantly as each day took stranglehold of the night. The The receptionist sitting idle in the ghost town looked forward to the melodious ringing of the telephone. Looked forward to the melodious ringing of the telephone. Greeting the person on the opposite side with a crisp hello. With a crisp hello. The grizzly-haired lizard traversing through the lining of the concrete wall wistfully looked forward to sleeping in the jungle with innumerable insects hovering seductively around its nose. And my heart captured mercilessly in my chest. And my heart captured mercilessly in my chest. Eagerly looked forward to breaking free every second from the norms and whims of this unceremonious society. Basking in the heaven of burning romance. Loving and embracing every moment the person it adored. The entity in the first place that it throbbed violently several times a minute for. And my heart captured mercilessly in my chest. Eagerly looked forward to breaking free every second from the norms and whims of this unceremonious society. Basking in the heaven of burning romance. Loving and embracing every moment the person it adored. The entity in the first place that it throbbed violently several times a minute for. Ladies and gentlemen, it truly was a victorious privilege for me to have given a recitation of this poetry of mine to your impeccable jurisdiction. At any juncture of mesmerizingly exuberant existence, you can of course purchase this book of mine in the ebook format from Amazon.com. From the innermost realm of my soul, I want to thank you for listening to me. Thank you for listening to me.